You've been together with your romantic partner for a while now, but how do you know whether or not you're falling in love? In the initial stage of dating, it might be hard to pinpoint what your heart is telling you, and you may have a surge of mixed intense feelings all at once. You might be unsure of whether or not it's merely physical attraction, infatuation, or the real deal. Moreover, you may be wondering what your partner thinks of you and if they've given any thought towards developing your relationship even further. How do you fully decipher your emotions? Here are 10 signs to tell if you're falling in love. 1. You find yourself trying new things. When people fall in love, they often step out of their comfort zone and engage in activities or interests their partner favors. You find yourself curious to learn more about them, so you begin to participate in their hobbies or eat their favorite foods. This, in turn, also helps you remember important details about them. 2. You've been stressed lately. When people fall in love, they experience higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Perhaps you're thinking about how to impress your partner, causing you to feel a little anxious. You start to care more about how you present yourself or what to say when they ask you a personal question. It's normal to feel a mixture of nervousness and excitement when you're around your partner, but having a degree of safety and trust is also essential. Make sure you're not anxious for the wrong reasons, such as worrying about when your partner will text you back or whether or not they're cheating on you. If you find that you're anxious over matters like these, then it's not an indicator of falling in love, but rather insecure attachment. 3. You feel motivated when you're with your partner. In the initial stage of falling in love, the part of your brain that releases dopamine becomes more active. This region is considered the reward system. When you find that being with your partner is a rewarding and fulfilling experience, you want to feed that instant gratification again and again by spending more time with them. Your life will generally be significantly better. Before, you might have found it difficult to wake up early in the morning, but ever since your partner entered your life, they have given you a reason to get up before the alarm even goes off. 4. Your partner returns the same feelings as you. You know that you like your partner, and your partner likes you back. Although liking isn't as strong or equivalent to love, people have to like each other first before they fall in love. When you and your partner like each other, it encourages the both of you to form a deeper bond. People fall in love only when they discover the true layers to their partner's personality. Forming a better understanding towards one another and discovering that those connections bring the two of you closer is an essential ingredient to love. 5. You miss your partner when they're not around. The more you miss your partner, the more committed you are to them. If your partner is constantly on your mind, even when they're not around, you're most likely falling in love with them. When two people miss each other when they're apart, it reflects how interdependent their lives have become. 6. You fall in love frequently, and this feels familiar. If you fall in love often, then you're less likely to miss out on finding the real deal. If the feelings you're developing for your partner feel similar to what you've experienced when you fell in love in past relationships, then chances are that is exactly what is happening now too. Don't overthink or try to understand your feelings too much. Instead, embrace and listen to them. You're more likely to figure out what your heart is telling you that way. 7. You're investing more time to be with your partner. People who fall in love invest more time and energy into making their partners an active part of their lives. It helps them stabilize the interdependence that leads them closer towards commitment. Especially if you're a busy person with a packed schedule, if you find yourself creating space to be with your partner more, then there's a good chance that you have serious feelings for them. 8. You celebrate your partner's accomplishments, even as you're struggling. When you really love someone, their success and happiness is important to you. You see the potential in them and want to support them every step of the way, no matter how challenging the journey can be. You can never let them fall behind because you believe in them. When they finally achieve their goals, you couldn't be more proud of them, even if you're struggling and failing to make your own dreams a reality. There's no jealousy or competitive urge to top them because their happiness has become a priority to you. 9. You find yourself growing ever since you got to know your partner. You feel like a different person now, someone who is better and more confident than before. When people fall in love, their whole sense of self transforms. They may replace bad habits with healthier ones, or take on new traits. When you fall in love, you find yourself changing, because you're receptive to the ways in which they encourage you. 10. You're tempted to say, "I love you." If you find yourself wanting to say these words to your partner, that's probably how you feel about them. Some people might be reckless and quick to say this phrase without actually meaning it. But if it's something that's been on your mind for a while and you've been trying to find the right time to say it, then you've probably fallen in love. The reason why you might be stalling, however, is because you're unsure of how your partner will react. Don't let that hold you back, though. Be brave and take the chance to confess how you feel. There's always going to be a degree of risk when love is involved, but ultimately, you'll be glad you did it. For those of you who believe you've fallen in love, when did you start realizing it? Are there any other signs you think we missed? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. When we fall in love, some part of us is always hoping we've finally met the person we're going to spend the rest of our lives with. That's why it's so hard for us to make up our minds about whether or not we should leave a relationship when we no longer feel happy. We're always holding out hope that things might get better somehow. On the other hand, however, it's difficult to know for certain if your feelings for someone really have changed, or if you and your partner are just going through a rough patch. After all, you wouldn't want to give up on someone and throw everything you have with them just to spend the rest of your life wondering if you made a mistake. With that said, here are 7 telltale signs that you are falling out of love with your partner. 1. You notice more of their flaws. When you first fall in love, you can't help but adore all the little quirks that made them who they are, like their need to win at everything or correct other people's grammar all the time. But as your feelings start to fade, so does your fondness for their so-called quirks. All the things you used to find so endearing are now starting to get on your nerves. Their flaws become harder to ignore, and you find yourself feeling more irritable around them. It's a subtle shift in your attitude towards them, but it's also an early warning that you may be falling out of love with your partner. 2. You don't communicate as much. Whenever you're having a bad day or just received some great news, your partner was always the first person you wanted to tell, right? They were your favorite person to talk to, and some days you felt like you could just sit and chat with them for hours on end about everything on your mind. But lately, you don't feel like talking to them much anymore, and you're not as open as you used to be with each other. You talk to your friends more than with them because you feel like you can't speak your mind anymore around them. Take this as a definite sign that you and your partner may be growing apart. 3. You spend less time with them. Have you stopped enjoying their company and stopped trying to make plans with them because honestly, you're starting to love being away from them more than being around them? Do you hardly go on dates now because of how dull or uncomfortable things have gotten between you two? When you find yourself wanting to spend less time with your partner, it might be an indicator you're falling out of love with them. And though there was once a time when all you wanted to do was spend time with this person, you just can't seem to remember what that felt like. 4. You feel more attracted to other people. Do you find yourself feeling more attracted towards someone other than you do to your own partner? Is it just an innocent little crush, some harmless flirting with someone you find attractive? Or is it giving you more joy and excitement than your current relationship? If so, then it's time for you to reevaluate your feelings for this person. Because when you're really in love with someone, they're the only person you want to be with. You don't find yourself thinking about anyone else when you're with them, and you certainly don't nurture a casual flirtation more than your own relationship. 5. You stop picturing a future with them. One of the greatest things about falling in love with someone is that you look forward to building a future with them. You think about how you're going to celebrate your anniversaries, what trips you should go on together, and ask each other serious questions about commitment and even marriage when you reach a certain age. So if you find yourself suddenly no longer able to picture a future with your partner in it, then there's definitely trouble in paradise, because it shows that you no longer feel like this relationship is meant to last, and that you are entertaining the possibility of no longer having this person in your life in the years to come. 6. You stop prioritizing your relationship. Do you frequently forget about your dates and other important plans with them? Do you cancel on them at the last minute and spend all your time focusing on your work, studies, or other relationships? When you stop making your relationship a priority in your life, it means that you no longer value it. You're not willing to compromise with them, make sacrifices for them, or set aside time for them because you're already falling out of love with them. You don't feel lucky to be with them anymore, and you've stopped seeing your relationship with them as special. 7. You've lost respect for them. Finally, but perhaps most importantly, losing respect for your partner is a sure enough sign that you've fallen out of love with them. In any relationship, respect is every bit as crucial as love, because it often comes hand in hand with trust, care, and support. Maybe you found that they lied to you and betrayed your trust, or broke one promise too many. Whatever the reason may be, it's made you apathetic towards your partner and driven a wedge between you fear you might never recover from. Because the moment you lose respect for someone is the moment you realize you no longer have any second chances left to give. If you find that you relate to any of the signs mentioned here, then it might be time to make a decision. Leave the relationship or try to patch things up between you and your significant other. Whichever choice you make, it helps to understand the problem between you two and figure out what caused you to fall out of love in the first place. Please do share this with those you think might benefit from it. Thanks for watching.